It being 7 o'clock, I'll call the meeting to order. The first order of business, I'd have everybody who's able to stand. Before we do the Pledge of Allegiance tonight, Middleborough lost a member of its family in Scott Nelson. Scott graduated from Middleborough and taught here for 36 years. And so if we could just have a moment of silence for Scott tonight. Thank you. And I'd ask that you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Our next order of business is public comment. Does anyone wish to comment on anything not on tonight's agenda? Mrs. Montrose, how are you this evening? Good, thank you.
Good. All right, I need my glasses.
No
I hate to admit
problem.
that in order to see these, I do need my glasses. This is in reference to the current bidding process for minibus drivers for Middleborough Public Schools. I understand it's not on the agenda, but it's my understanding that I can just kind of give a little comment as a parent. So that's what this pertains to. So first of all, thank you for listening to me on this subject this evening. My name is Heather Montross. I'm a parent of 3 children in Middleborough Public Schools, one of which happens to be a special needs child. He's been riding the minibus to school since his entry into Middleborough Public Schools at the age of 3. My son was nonverbal upon his entry into the preschool program at the Lincoln D. Lynch School many, many years ago. The mission of the Middleborough Public Schools is to prepare all students to excel as educated, responsible global citizens. What I'd like to reflect on is kind of the prepare component of that mission. The preparation of a special needs child is very different from those of non-special needs children. I know this because I have both. So their needs are different. What we have to do for them is different. I don't mean different in a bad way. I mean different in just a way that it's simply not the same as to what we have to do for everybody else. One of these things that we do for them is we transport them by minibus rather than by big bus, because their needs are different and they need to be met individually. Because of that, the person who drives that minibus is a very special person to the child and to the family by extension. Who that person is very important. It sets the tone for the child's day. Their day, when you're a special needs child, your day starts in your driveway. And as you know, if you hit every red light, your day kind of doesn't go well. If you hit every green light on the way to work, your day might go better. So depending on who that person is on that bus really, really does matter. We're very lucky in Middleborough because we have a fleet of drivers who are wonderful people. When my son first entered LDL, as I said, he was nonverbal. I didn't put him on the minibus. I drove him to school because I was very afraid. As a mother, I had a child who couldn't speak, who couldn't tell me if something was wrong, who couldn't tell me if something happened on the bus. I didn't put him on the bus. So 3 months into it, we had a summer program, which is now going on at MECC. At the time, we were bused to Mitchell Elementary School, actually in Bridgewater, did our program. So now I was asked to put a nonverbal autistic child, 3 years old, on a bus to another town. I was scared. I really was. And as a parent, if you can imagine where that put me, it was very hard to do. And I got a call from one of your drivers, and she said to me, and I will never forget what she said to me, she said, "Heather, we will get through this together." And for a bus driver to say that to a parent just really helped me put him on that bus. And I did. And it was because of her that I continued to put him on the bus, and then I continued to trust the other drivers that I met, some of whom are actually here tonight. I've actually had all 3 of those drivers up there throughout my years here. I'm 11 years into this now, and that nonverbal 3-year-old is a chatty 14-year-old heading to Middleborough High School in September. And I could not be prouder of that, and I just want to thank you for just considering a parent's perspective as you make your decision.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Can I make a suggestion? And I just want to throw something out there. One of the things that's difficult for us, anything not on tonight's agenda, we can't comment on. We're not allowed to under the open meeting law. If we've had this on the past two out of the last 3 meetings. I am perfectly fine with putting this on our next meeting's agenda if people want to have a dialogue about it, but it's hard, and I know it looks bad when the school committee can't talk about something and can't communicate with parents. So everyone here is more than welcome to come up and speak tonight, but if people want to, I'll be more than happy to put it on next meeting's agenda so there can be more of a dialogue. And so I open that up for the parents who are here. If you'd like to do that, I can do it that way. The other thing I want to tell everybody out there, which is you are more than welcome to email me or to call me. And I have put things on the agenda that parents have asked me to put on the agenda. If I can't because of something that's going on, I'll always tell you when I'll get it on the agenda. So I'm just opening that up to this group. Does that make sense? Okay, that'd be great. And again, we don't like people having to talk and not get answers, especially if they have questions. And it makes more sense for us if we, I'll make sure it's on the agenda. I have down here that our next meeting is August 17th. So I'll make sure it's on the agenda for the August 17th meeting. Okay? Thank you, everybody. Nope, and public comment's still open.
Hi, I'm Nancy Malloy.
Hi.
And I have 3 children also. One just graduated. And I have another daughter who's 13 in junior high. And my son Matthew is autistic, and he is verbal, but he can't really remember what happens from one minute to the next. So if you ask him how his day is, he might remember one thing out of the whole day. So his teachers are great, and they video him talking about his day, so I know what's going on, because he can't tell me. My daughter comes home who's 13, or even my 18-year-old could come home at 17 or whatever age and tell me what's going on. So I get to know what's going on in his life during the day. So this concerns me to see him go on a bus with someone we don't know. And I don't let him go on a bus until I ask other people, who is that? If it's going to be switched, I want to know who that person is. And we have some history on these people, because they've been in the town, or they've, he's been in the system a while, so we know these people. I follow the bus, honestly, when he has a new bus driver. And I followed it when he went to another town and made sure he got there safe and, gave the thumbs up. And because if you don't have a child with disabilities, I can understand. You don't understand what we go through every day. You don't understand it. And so we just want you to understand this makes us sick to our stomachs, and we have been sick about this. It's horrible. We're not sleeping. It's very upsetting. He's blind now. So he can see this far in front of him. And to go on stairs, it's terrifying for him to get in just this year he can get on the bus now. He trusts these women with him. He trusts them, I trust them. So if he gets on, he usually would say, I'm not going, and we'd have this huge fight, and we have all the behavioral things in place, and we're doing everything perfectly. He has everything in place. If you ask any behaviorist, I follow through on everything. We do picture schedules, we do verbal, how he can do things. So we, as parents, as a family, my girls, know the situation, how to get him on a bus, how to get him off. We prepared him the best we can. And he's excited to go on a minibus because he's like his sisters. They want to be like their sisters or brothers or neighbors. They don't, want to be outside of that, So there's a lot that goes into this. To think that safety net could be taken away from us all, it's extremely upsetting. And he's finally this year going on the bus and not tantruming. And it's taken us so many years. So to set that back, it's very upsetting to me to think that he's going to go not be able to go to school anymore. I have to drive him sometimes and have the whole, people come out and get him out of the car. And it takes away from his whole day when that happens. And this year he's getting on the bus and he's going and he's safe. He says, I'm safe. I'm like, you are safe, buddy, So it's just unbelievable how we feel about this. And we just want you to know it's a huge issue for us. And I understand if you don't live it, you don't understand it. So we're just trying to give you a face and a context as to what this is for us as a family, as just people that we talk to in our neighborhoods are like, what? Why would they do that? We're discussing it. I'm discussing with my older daughter, and she said, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? And my younger daughter is more fierce. She said, should I go talk to them about Maddie and his friends? That doesn't make any sense. Aren't we here to help people that need it? We can't take that away from them. They're confident in what they're doing, Mama. Why would they do that? They were all giving me the fist on the way out the door. So I understand there's budgets and there's things we have to consider, but as my daughter said, why take from the kids that need it the most and the people that need it the most? And she's like, we can do a fundraiser maybe. What can we do, Mom? We really can't take this from them. So that's where we are coming from with our concerns, is that these are our most vulnerable people in our society, and we need to stand behind them and help them, the best we can. The pros to it, I don't know if it's money, but I just don't understand what the pros are, and I can't wait to hear what the pros are. I'm just coming at it from my point of view, and I understand someone else might be competent to get them there, but I'm not sure how long it's going to take us to get him to be comfortable again, how many years it will take us to get him. He only has a couple more years in the system. Just for our family, I can't imagine some other people and what their situations are, especially little ones. It takes them every year to get used to someone new or a new, person or whatever. So, there's quite a few things that, go into this. We just hope that you understand where we're coming from, and if you have questions for us next time, we'd be more than happy to answer them. We want to work with you, but it is, for us, it's very upsetting when we heard this. We're like, that doesn't make any sense. It's what my daughter said, and I agree with her. But we do want to hear what you have to say. So, and we would like to keep our bus drivers employed, because most of them are Middleborough residents. So, I would think, put money back into our town as well. So that's where I'm coming from. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Anybody else? Welcome.
Hello, I'm Jessica Newell. My son, Michael, is 6 and will be starting with MKG this year, so he's super nervous. And I'm just looking at this picture, just sitting here, and it's every student. And I just want you to think about that when you do this. Every student. Nowhere on there does say anything, and I understand money and I understand all of that stuff, but these are our babies, and it's really hard. And, I don't want to overlap on what the other women have said already, but this is everything to us. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Anybody else? Then I'm going to move on with the agenda. Discussion items. I know Owen's not here. Reports from school committee members. Mr. Ness. Mr. Lambert. Mr. Giovanoni.
I have one item. I just want to make mention that the next meeting of the Middleborough High School Building Committee will be next Wednesday, August 2nd, 5 p.m. at the Town Hall. And that's an open meeting. It's on TV. They do record it. Sometimes I don't know if it's live every time, but they do record it. But the next meeting for the Middleborough High School Building Committee is Wednesday, August 2nd, 5 p.m. at the Town Hall. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Franco.
Nothing at this time.
I don't have anything either. We only really have one item, and it's on the superintendent's report, so I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Lynch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I have with me Kathy Piatelli, Director of Business and Finance, and this is with, or in direct regard to the Nichols Middle School boiler replacement. We have a bid update for you, which is why initially this meeting was scheduled. So I'm going to hand it over to Mrs. Piatelli, who has a bit of a report for you through a memorandum that was sent to you, and she'll explain. So, Kathy, thank you.
Thank you.
So, since our last school committee meeting, I composed a response to the protest letter received from the second lowest bidder for the boiler here at the Nichols Middle School, and I had the Attorney General's office review it. She gave it her approval, so I emailed it to the lowest bidder, stating the 4 points that the lowest bidder was in fact qualified and certified to perform the job. He accepted the email and he replied, "Thanks for the response and good luck with your project." I also forwarded you the recommendation from Mr. Martin Richardson, the consulting engineer working on the project, and he's recommending that we award the contract to Performance Plumbing and Heating in the amount of $251,098 as presented. And as I've said before, Performance Plumbing installed the hot water heater 2 years ago here, so we are familiar with their work and we are satisfied with it. So it was at this time that I'd like to request the committee's vote to award the contract to Performance Plumbing and Heating.
Chair? Before I make a motion, I just wanted to make mention that, thank you, Kathy, for doing this. It's, sometimes you get to open a bid, send a letter of recommendation of award, and we move forward. And sometimes you spend 60 hours in the course of 3 weeks in the summer trying to get letters, responses, Attorney General, everyone. And when I read the 4 claims and responses, short and sweet, I thought they were excellent and spot on for, the responses were exactly what I would have said if I were sitting in your shoes as well. So I thought it was great. And I think that you did a great job with this, and I look forward to getting this job moving. Can I make a motion at this time? Please. I would move that we award the heating hot water boiler replacement project at the Nichols Middle School in the amount of $251,098 to Performance Plumbing and Heating Incorporated.
Second, do I hear a second? Second. Discussion. Kathy, and I guess maybe through you to Hutch, if that's okay. Ms. Hutchinson, does it look like we'll get this done before opening the school? I know we don't need it done before opening a school. I was just wondering timeframe. Yeah, okay. Excellent. Excellent. That's fantastic. Currently, we have 1 boiler, 1.5. Mr. Lynch?
I also wanted to note that the recommendation from Mr. Richardson with regard to this project was also based on 3 excellent references on this company through the town of Waltham, the town of Burlington, and the town of Needham, who all have used Performance Plumbing and have all been very pleased with their performance. We also, the hot water heaters here at Nichols Middle School were installed by the same company, and we were pleased with their work. Correct, Mr. Hutchinson? Yeah.
Great. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Yes.
I would move that we approve the following warrants. Warrants numbered 525, 529, and 546 as presented this evening.
Second?
Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Mr. Lynch, do you have anything else for us?
I do not
Does
this
any
evening.
member of the committee have anything else for us?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Welcome Emma Delvecchio, Hannah Lawson, and Kimberly Galoob. New hires here in our district.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Second. Do I hear a second? Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
everybody.